After tutoring Ellis last semester, I've continued working with him. Although he still has an ILP, he has made progress, starting off partially proficient according to his report card, but achieving proficiency just a couple of weeks ago. Last semester, I found strategies that involved drawing very successful with Ellis, so I continued using sketch to stretch, vocabulary graffiti, and added drawing and illustration and mind mapping. One study of art that Ellis found particularly enjoyable was pop art and Andy Warhol. We took turns reading a few chapters on Warhol, I modeling proper porosity and pausing, then Ellis reading aloud, utilizing his phonetic chunking when needed. We then watched a cartoon video on the life of Andy Warhol. During this time, Ellis sketched what turned out to be his own version of Campbell's soup, pineapple soup. I then had Ellis create a mind map to organize all the information he had learned. First, I modeled the process by beginning my map, but I had Ellis tell me the important aspects of Warhol's life. Ellis then joined in, drawing his own mind map, and in order to strengthen the connections, adding words and vivid color similar to what Warhol would have used. Afterwards, I had Ellis explain his map and retell Warhol's life story.
Andy Warhol in a soup can, and then it goes
in what?
In a soup can. See how his video is soup can. And then it goes over here, and this is what he was when he was a little boy. He liked to eat brownies, and he was pale. And
he was pale?
Why?
Because he got sick a lot, and then he read comic books in his bed, and he got a projector, and he went to art lessons. And then over here, he got bigger and went to New York. There's the bus going to New York.
Oh, that's cool.
And he painted shoes.
I like how you
painted
New York.
And they're in an apartment building, and there's so many mice that they needed a cat. Well, a few cats, and they named the cat Sam. And then that's the cat chase. And then he got a factory. It was a little factory. He called it the factory. And it was pretty much like a disco party because there were all sorts of, like, he put silver stuff all over the walls. And then he had people play music while they painted.
Is that a guitar?
And that's a cymbal. And all of the paint is getting mixed up in the brush.
To assess whether or not my strategies were effective, the next week I asked Ellis to tell me a little bit about Andy Warhol.
I don't know what his name was, but the pale person.
The pale person.
And
do you remember when he had his last name and when
Andy Warhol?
Yeah.
And it was about all of his paintings. And it showed a lot of them, and it was,
What kind of paintings did he do? What was he?
He did ones about comics and soup cans and things, and there's one about a banana that makes me hungry.
So why was he special? Do you remember what he did differently than other artists?
He painted things that you see in, like, your everyday life instead of, like, things that are rare.
So can you tell me about some things, if you were to paint, what would you paint from your everyday life?
I could paint a Lego brick in Minecraft.
Another project we worked on was making handmade paper. With this, I had Ellis predict what would happen when adding several things such as beets, strawberries, bits of duct tape, and raffia to the pulp. I also had him fill out a KWL chart to document what he knew about paper making, what he still wondered about, and finally, what he had learned. Based upon this information, I had him make a claim and give his reasoning by citing the evidence he had found out while making the paper. To capitalize on Ellis's current obsession, dragons, I had him read passages from a fictional book on dragons considered to be a complex text.
Now follows the part of the story in which Hiccup traveled across the great West Ocean. It would take far too long to tell what happened every minute, every hour, every day.
From that book, he did sketch-to-stretch exercises and wrote vocabulary words neatly. 2 months later, he still knows the words. What's that, Ellis?
Fisticuff.
Fisticuffs? What does that mean?
It means fist fight.
What about nemesis?
Enemy. And he tried his hand at other things too. He bought a film camera and started to make film.
Result.
Andy had a lot.
Standing on the corner,
A lot of small pieces of raffia. What do you
suitcase
think?
in my hand. Jackson's corset, Jane is in her vest, and me, I'm in a rock and roll
Okay,
band.
and then the second thing we're going to do, we're going to put it on paper.
Riding a studs big at Jim.
And what do you think's going to happen?
You know, those were different times.
Why?
All the poets, they studied rules of verse, and those ladies, they rolled their eyes.
Why?
CJ, oh, CJ.